Do 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 do. All right. Hello, hello. Welcome back to Take with a Grain of Salt. Welcome back. Can I just say, I've been loving my podcast name recently. And shout out to my sister who helped me, or she fully came up with the name. But I've really just been like fucking with my podcast name. Just like take with a grain of salt. Like, how is that not the most clever thing in the entire world? Anyways, hi. How y'all doing? Let me just set the scene of where I'm at. It's a Saturday and it's really hot today, but it's beautiful and it's clear blue skies. I've just been to myself all day so far. And you know if you're a smoker out there, you know when you like take a morning hit and it's such a nice feeling. And it doesn't even have to be a huge hit where you're like off your rocker, but it's just like a nice little like, this is a good feeling right now. And it's the morning and life seems like there's so many endless possibilities and I feel like I can do anything I want. And I don't know if this is just me, if anyone can relate to this, but just like the come down, like the afternoon come down of a morning high is not my favorite thing because I have such a hard time already letting myself smoke in the morning on a weekend. Especially like if I work later that night, I'm like, nah, don't put it in your system at all today. Like try and just like be sober so you don't have to go into work feeling groggy because of that afternoon come down where I'm just like, now I'm just sleepy and eepy. It's not a bad thing though. I just like get hard on myself. But that's where I'm at, where it's like the come down from that really nice morning high. And I did a lot of cleaning though, and I'm very like pat myself on the back for that. But now I'm just like, and you know when you clock down the fucking hours until you have to like go to work, I'm like, oh, I don't want to, but I'm really trying to keep a positive mindset about it because if I do just let myself harp on it and sulk in the idea that I have to work, like nothing's going to change, like I'm still going to go, so then I'm just wasting my precious hours of being able to like try and enjoy it before going into work. And it's just it's that battle right now. I'm like, oh, it's going to be so long. But it's fine. Anyways, that's kind of how my day has been so far. But I'm really happy that I decided to hit record. And I'm just making sure that no one's outside my door right now. The one thing I wanted to talk about on today's episode is how us as women, and I'm going to speak for myself personally as well, just because I feel like it helps me relate to it better and maybe relate to people better. But how I just fucking put men on a goddamn pedestal like they're the fucking king and I'm their little mistress. Like, it's really just come into fruition for me how much I really put men on a pedestal / I feel like men are so foreign to me. And I can get into that like on a personal level where I didn't really grow up around a lot of guys. So once I gained a lot more confidence in just talking to men and one, realizing that they're a man, and I digress on that, but like two, how much I'm like, I already feel this inferiority complex of myself. Not even that they're immediately like, oh, you are right in this situation, or yes, like I am like you, like I am following you. It's not that kind of pedestal for me. It's just that, well, now I have to think about it. Because all I know is I feel it, but I'm like, what's the root of it? And I think it goes back to how they're foreign to me, right? Like they're this like shiny thing. And I'm like, I ick myself out because it even feels wrong for me right now in this moment to even sometimes like talk shitty about men because I know fundamentally like good guys, but as a whole, like societal, just generalized man, the male community, you know, there's some shit to say, and that's not like we're not fucking blind to that, all right? So I'm like, Maddie, it's fine, but the foreignness of the male species has really like bled into my mind cripplingness, and especially when like my entire life from always having like a crush on someone, it's been that I am lesser than, which is just is a no-no. I want that to be a hard ass no. Who deemed the right for me to just let the man automatically have this like higher power? And obviously that this has been going on for hundreds of fucking years. Like I think it's just like crazy to me. Like I was in my bed a couple nights ago just really looking at things in a bird's eye view on a lot of situations in my life. And a lot of it has come back to the theme of letting a male subconsciously be like this shiny new thing that I have to like calculate, and like this formula that I have to figure out. Growing up, having a crush on a male was honestly like forbidden. Like you don't like anybody. I don't date until how like whatever age, and honestly at that point like dating and having a boyfriend in middle school or high school was so like out in like outer space for me. It seemed so impossible, but it was so romantic and this fantasy for me because it also like blended in with the fact that I was raised on, you know, you have one soulmate and you marry this one person and that is your perfect other half, right? So it was also like dreamy and fantasy like, but also so fucking like far away that I couldn't even comprehend what it was like to have a boyfriend. And I'm saying boyfriend specifically because I'm talking more about like the males out there. However, I just think even for myself in general, like being in a relationship, whether it would be with like a female or, you know, any gender, because we're fluid over here. But speaking specifically on the male species, like it was just so in outer space. Is honestly like it's just that I'm getting this vision. It was so far, but I would think about it for hours and hours because it was so foreign. It's like going to a foreign country, and it's like I can dream about wanting to go to Italy for so many years of my life, and then when I get there, and maybe this is a bad analogy, like I'm not saying, like when I get to Italy, of course it's going to be like, oh my fucking god, but it's also at the same time like it's not that different compared to, like, like even a European wanting to travel to America. It's that idea, that illusion of something so cool and unique, and like something you need to see and need to figure out, and like you need to go there and like I don't know, dissect a little bit. And that's kind of how men were for me. I'm like, I have no idea how you operate because I have grown up with only estrogen in my house. Shout out to my father, yes, but like so much estrogen in my life. I have no idea how males work and how they operate. And then when I did interact with males in like my younger years of elementary school, middle school, I was like absolutely terrified. And no, I wouldn't talk to them. The fuck? No, I wouldn't talk to like the love of my life in 6th grade. No, like my mind had that covered. But I will not talk to you because I'm terrified. So they became like this immediately, like, okay, so you are superior to me because there's so much I want to know about you. I'm terrified, but there's something so alluring and enthralling about men. Isn't that crazy? Oh my god, it's like you're just a man. Like go you, but you're just a man. Um so then I think transitioning out of where I grew up and, finding new philosophies on life, new, like, my own set of beliefs, it still has creeped in where it's just this instinctual thing. Men, like, you need to chase men, you need to earn men. That's crazy. Like, I'm just like, damn. And this has been going on for like, this is not a new thing. I think it seems so like an epiphany for me because I'm starting to become a little bit more self-aware of that about me, where it doesn't seem just like, well, that's how it is. Like, sorry, that's how I am. Like, I don't want to be like that. And I don't want to try and constantly chase and earn and seek and convince and tempt. Like, that is exhausting. That is exhausting. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just interesting because you can tell when there are women who seek out male validation and like I feel like there's a term for it and I think I'm just blanking, but it's just that constant seeking for like the what is it like they have the male gaze, like they're does someone know what I'm talking about? But it's obvious when there is, and I'm kind of doing things in black and white now in this moment of like male and female, but just you can just tell when there's a female who has the male gaze. I'm just going to say that, and I hope I'm using it correctly. And then someone who just doesn't. And I feel like I was a little bit of the male gaze for a very, very long. There's not even, I feel like, I know I was for a very, very long time. Where it's so nice getting attention from men. There's something that, like, it's like you level up a little, or like you get that gold star. It's like you're playing like a sim game, and then it's like, oh, you got that man to come over and, ask for your number. Gold star. Because then you could look at it from a perspective of, so if I'm going into a bar and it's like, all right, my goal is, let's get a guy's number, all right? And if I'm going in with this, like, I am seeking out for a guy to come up to me, it strips away that, like, female empowerment a little bit, because it's like my goal is to lure a man, or at least like to lure a man so then I can feel good about myself. Instead, there could be that like mindset of, I am so hot that there should be like, I should have a line of men at my fucking feet just because I am this valuable. However, they don't identify or like they don't complete what I know who I am. And I think that's like the fine line of it, where, all right, I'm going into the bar and I want a guy's number. Am I doing it to try and feel good about myself, or I'm doing it just so I can, like, where it's kind of like, well, as you fucking should, you should get a guy's number because you're so valuable. But, like, then does it automatically have this, like, it makes me feel good about myself because of a man? Because it's a man? And I get it. It's fun. It's fucking fun. Bitch, I be doing that I love that shit. But I want to try and, like, have it come from a place where it doesn't solely rely on a male's opinion to make me, like, go home that night and be like, you know what, I was hot because I was able to get that guy to come over to me and give me their number or something, There is definitely nuance to it. But then it's like, all right, well, how about to the men that we do like, or that how women are when we do get crushes on them? And how we can act a little fucking crazy. We can act crazy. We can do shit that we're like, oh my God, didn't know I could go to that extent. And then we're automatically putting them on this, like, at this finish line, and like trying to run as fast as we can to prove to them, like, no, you want me, and me quoting I, like, and talking to a male, like, I'm going to show you how much you need me in your life because I can take care of you. I can satisfy your emotional needs. Just even by saying that, there's already so much, like, self-deprecation right there. Because at the core of just everything and, like, who you are, I believe you don't need anyone else. If you are whole in yourself, then you are able to, like, be whole with others. And that's just kind of like the reaping your fruits, where you're able to then make connections with people and, find love with male, female, etc. Wait, what was I saying? But you don't need anyone else at the end of the day. I, like, lost track of what I was saying. There's so much going on up here. Oh, yeah, when you like someone. So then you're, like, trying to prove to them Like, trust me, your life will be better because you specifically have me. Life's crazy. Life's crazy, and I get a little like silent here because I then get a little sad. I'm going to be honest. Like, I get a little sad because I know a lot of it is rooted in my upbringing, and I'm allowed to kind of like hold that sadness of, damn, I wish, I was maybe not as sheltered. I wish I was like, I had some exposure to males and not think that they're this like, they're like this foreign thing that like one is bad, like, don't get too close to them. They're going to hurt you, but also like respect them because they're men. And I wish I had that more exposure of, having friendships with males that were healthy as kids and as a kid. And I can remember a couple where there was that comfortability with a guy when I was in elementary school or middle school, where it's like, oh, yeah. But it was so few that any male to me when I was younger was just this like hard eye emoji for me. I'm like, ooh, even if I did not think that they were cute, I was just like scared, but also like allured by them. So, and then it kind of makes me a little sad where I'm like, ugh, that shit's like annoying that that happened, because now I'm in my early 20s and it's seeping into other, like, I just, I wish I could just turn it off. But you can't, right? Like, it's honestly, if you look at it, like my inner child and like the wounds, or even just how I was, like the ways to protect myself is just protecting me now, because, and it's great to accept that and at least like notice it, and then start to do the work and like breaking those patterns of immediately like going into this servant mode, I guess, or this role of trying to compete with myself. Like, how can I be better to get the guy? And that goes with like, having deep feelings for a guy, and also even just going to the bar or like being out and seeing like a group of good looking men and automatically going into that, what's the word? Automatically going into that like mindset of, all right, well, there's hot guys, so now now I kind of have to act like hot. Now I have to like try and lure them over here or something. Like, ew, that shit gets tiring. I think for me personally, though, because that was kind of more of like a large spectrum for how women act. I think for me personally, it does go a lot more with the fact of when I like find myself having deep feelings for a male, I really get into this power dynamic struggle where I'm like, all right, you have the subconscious, even if the male, even if that certain guy really isn't even doing anything to kind of show like I am above you. It's just that subconscious um like switch I go into myself where I'm like, all right, well, now that and this is kind of how it is. Now that I know that I kind of got you, I kind of got your interest. Now I'm kind of like trying to earn you fully. So it normally goes into a lot of when I catch myself having feelings. Um, more so than going out in public, kind of well, I don't know, I kind of do it all. I do it all, and that's fine. And it's fine to admit, because I know I'm not the only one. I'm kind of just like tired of it. Like I am. Like I really am. And I know it takes time to unweave that little part of myself. But I just thought I'd like chat on it. Just to know that like you're not alone. Like I am doing that. And it's like a current thing that I'm really just like working through, you know? And I think even with male friendships as well. Like I think over the past couple years, I've developed and had experiences with guys and where it was strictly friends, and it's very fulfilling and enriching when that happens. And I'm like, because just in general, I want to be gravitated towards like good soul people, like taking out the gender, the identity of it, like finding a good person that has just this soul of good values and good energy is at the end of the day what I want to attract and be around, right? And when I let my ego kind of take control, that's where a lot of that, hierarchy shit I just explained. But I have been fortunate enough to like create bonds with guys where I'm like, this is great. I don't think that you're above me, and I'm trying to prove to you that like I deserve to be in your company. And it's really, really nice. Where was I going with that? I don't know, but like I have had that exposure to it in the past few years, and it's nice. I have had exposure to fucking ego, like heavy, shitty ass men that I'm like, I can just like, the only thing I can do is pat myself, be like, it's okay, Maddie. It's okay you thought that at the time that it was fine. But then I laugh about it and I'm like, that's crazy. In a good way. I don't like to use the word crazy, so I'm going to take that back. But that's wild that just the allowance of shitty, really just disrespectful men, how much energy that they kind of like, I don't know, like just how much energy I put into shitty men before. And I mean, and then also, yeah, I mean, like even just men and boys, I'm calling them fucking boys, but like boys that I witness now, and like even just in passing or even just in small conversations. And I get it that we all fuck up and that we all need to own our own shit. But there are some men that I have met that literally have such a like fixed, toxic ego mindset that I'm like, one, it like kind of is enthralling a little because I'm like, I can change you. But two, I'm like, I can't even be in your presence. I can't, because it's a waste of my time. It is a waste of my time. Yeah. It's interesting. It really is. Um, yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. Let me know if you agree, or if you kind of like have a different outlook on it, or like if you grew up a different way. Like, what is it like when you grow up with a lot of brothers or just a lot of testosterone? Like how does that kind of affect your wiring with males in your life? I'm like so curious about that because it is so not how I had it. Because I was listening to a podcast and I was listening to Advice, and one of the hosts, her name is Alex, she was talking about how many great role like male figures she had in her life, and how she has a honestly like a positive like there's a word like a positive eye, whatever, a positive eye for just like males, and she, you know, is aware that there's like the shitty men, but she had that positive upbringing with men, and it's just so interesting because it's like then you talk about like what you look for in a partner if you were like looking for like to be in a relationship with the male, like how you look for that, and how she was raised. It was so just, it's so natural for her to look for men that served kind of the same relationship that she had in her childhood. And not to say like she didn't like get involved with, you know, some stupid guy or whatever, but it's just interesting when you are searching for a male partner. I didn't have that exposure to it, and I tend to find myself gravitating towards men that not only honestly like allow themselves to kind of always have been like this power of control, because you know it's a two-way street with me and my crushes at the time. Like not only did I allow them to kind of have this control over me, they allowed it themselves. They knew I was, you know, in like this inferior little bird. So like I didn't really have anything else to go off on because it was just so like that's how it was embedded in my childhood, like that men are to be kind of avoided, but like respected at a high level. You kind of have to earn them because, you know, I can't have a crush. I couldn't date, or I couldn't think about dating until I was this certain age, meaning that then men in general were just so like exciting, and that was what I got from it. So now when it's like I see a cute guy, more than likely they will be not into commitment, unavailable, or they like when a woman chases. And I get it. A woman chasing a man, like I'm sure that's really hot for a guy in certain cases where it just makes them feel really fucking good. Okay, I'm gonna stop, but love this for me. Love that I was able to talk about this because I'm gonna be honest, the people pleasing part of me is like, I don't want to say anything bad about men because I don't want them to listen to this and get offended. But then it's like, ooh, Maddie, snap, snap, snap. That's on them if they want to get offended by this episode. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ. It's just so interesting. All right, someone's texting me. Oh, nothing important. Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening. And thank you guys for listening a lot to the episode with me and Riley. There was honestly something so awesome that came from that. Not just because I feel like a lot of people listened to it and watched it and had amazing feedback, which is literally makes my heart, it makes my heart so happy and it makes me blush. But I just think it was a move for me personally and creatively that I'm really proud of myself for doing because I've wanted to do it. And whether or not it even got the feedback that it got, I wouldn't care. It was just the fact that I was able to kind of stretch myself and be like, bring a guest. And this is cool. And it can work out technology wise, because I was also like, well, how am I going to do this? And like, how does it work? And like, I have to get an extra mic. And I don't know, I'm proud of myself. And I also want to thank you for listening to that if you did, and having like really nice things to say about that. And yeah. Okay. Well, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. And just remember how valuable you are. Male, female, they, thems, like all you bitches. Like, you guys are all so valuable just as a soul and a human. So don't forget about that, okay? And don't let people treat you like shit. And don't let yourself allow that. That's a big one too. Don't let yourself allow it. All right. Okay. With peace and love, I'm going to go now.